Okay, I'm going to do this to list all of the inconsistencies I see in Ivar's arguments. Okay, so firstly, he says TI must derive all knowledge in and of itself without any outside help. Okay, fine, I can see that. But then he says that his ISTP that needs to be prompted, or else he says he doesn't think about anything. He doesn't think about anything unless he's prompted to think about something. So how would one derive knowledge then, if not prompted? You know what I'm saying? I'll stop looking at books here. My own logic is starting to unravel because every time someone comes and they present an argument to me, I have to unravel what I thought. I have to re-roll it, unroll it, and then re-roll it again. Can it just I feel like a spindle sometimes. I'm just spinning perpetually. And then these different sides have different opposing views, and I have to try to find the commonality between them, and then try to make sense, see if it fits the ideal, well, whatever it is that I'm looking for. Ivar says that host Eric has TI in the second slot, right? So this is toolkit. And he says basically that host Eric, if there's a framework, he can swallow whatever, but that with me, my feelings get hurt. That's because the reason why my feelings can seem to be hurt at the time I can react is because I would have TI and FE in polarizing the axes. If it is true and conclusive that my TI is either first or fourth, I would have a very visceral reaction because basically he's steamrolling everything that I'm saying. He's not letting me take the time to construct valid arguments, or to even present those arguments to him. And then he's just steamrolling right over me, and that really offends me. Because it's okay, now you're trying to imprint what you see, what I am, to me, and you're really not, you don't know me, one. You say you know me, you think you know me. My viewpoints always change. I'm very fluid. I could say one thing today, I could reach the conclusion that that thing is not true tomorrow, because according to Voltology, that would make me a reviser, right? Which means I'm perpetually in doubt, which means I would always change my mind about something. The way I feel about something today, whatever I feel works today, may not work tomorrow. He's obviously a conductor, so he's not going to be so fluid. He's going to be stiff, right? So I'm over here trying to make this guy more fluid, and he's trying to make me more rigid, and it's just getting nowhere. But obviously, yes, my TI would be in one of those opposite poles, either the first or the fourth slot, which would be attached to my identity, which would explain why I could get offended, why it would be touchy to me when he's trying to label me, without really, it's his arguments based on socionics, and he's only using socionics. He's not using any other system. He tells me that using other systems, even in tandem, that I'm creating a Frankenstein, that my tapestry is just basically worthless, and that I should use each system separately. While I do respect each system for what it is, I do like to find commonalities between systems and try to use them to come about a more holistic conclusion, if I can, or let's just say I entertain him and use each of these systems separately. Okay, so we derive at maybe 3 or 4 types based on the 3 or 4 systems, right? So each system has its game, its rules, whatever, and then I derive 3 types, let's just say 3 systems. Okay, what do these types have in common? And from that, what one type can I sort of ideally fall into? You know, the most. It's not going to be perfect. Yeah, but at least I can go around and I can present this to the group and they can kind of somewhat globally see it. And then I can kind of know where I fit in the schematic. You know, in the people schematic. I can sort of view with the bird's eye where the fuck I fit at. And he just doesn't understand this. He thinks, oh, you're just trying to get goody-goody with people. If that was the fucking case, I'd be in a fucking clique already. I'm an outsider. I just butt heads so much. Then I'm not even in any groups, you know? And the only way I can stay in a group is if I say absolutely nothing and I just stay on the fringes just looking in from the outside, because if I say anything, I am just so caustic to these people that they get mad at me, they kick me out, you know, or I end up leaving because they frustrate the shit out of me, you know? So he's saying I'm a people person and whatever. Yeah, I mean, whatever, I'll entertain that, but I really don't see the results of that. I don't see that. The data just doesn't speak to me. It says otherwise. So he obviously does not know me. He has not met me. I'm looking forward to seeing his bitch ass in December because I want to see what he thinks after that. That's going to be an enlightening event. Another thing, he says that I don't act like a regular ESFJ because
don't put your hand in my face. What do you like it if I put my hand in your face?
You do it all the time. You do it all the time. Anyway, he says that I don't act like a regular ESFJ because I have trauma, right? But the thing is, right, I would have maintained some kind of ego. I would have maintained some kind of stable ego state. It would have shown up. Not just the lack of TI, but all the other habits that manifest. You're really acting crazy right now, and I cannot concentrate.
Okay, I overdosed on sugar.
Yeah, I can tell. Sort of. I don't know. But all the other idiosyncrasies that come along with that ego state would manifest. I believe. Yeah. Like you would have seen more than just low indicator TI, and even that's deceptive, right? It's, you know, you would have to compare me to a data set of a bunch of people, not just your single observation. He also stated that he admits that my SE would be very strong, too forceful to be a polar function. Right, but at the same time, he also stated that SE, when it's in its 6th slot, it would be short spurts and then it would dissipate. This has not been the case with me. With people, it's been continuous. Like in the Discord servers, when I was in that other group, people would pose logical inconsistencies to me. I would argue, and then they would say some shit that was very clearly wrong. And I will blast the fuck out of them. I will curse them the fuck out. And this was just a back and forth thing. I think if it was indeed a shadow function, if it was hexing and it was in a 6th slot, okay, it would not be so prevalent. This would be, of course, yes, it is in stress, you know, but I use my hands every day. I make jewelry, I see imperfections in the jewelry, also in my physical environment, I see imperfections throughout the environment. And even in my own face, I see every imperfection. Okay, and I don't think that being Effie on top would allow for that to be a consistent thing. You know? And even with the Effie, I do notice that I have to consciously extend myself. It makes me very tired. I do notice that I get very tired. I feel it in the orbitals of my eyes. I feel sunken when I have to project some kind of empathy for way too long. It's tedious. People's details of their lives are tedious. I really don't give a fuck about it, to be quite frank with you. The only thing that Effie is probably good for is that I don't outright tell them. Like, I'm not so rude as to just be very honest about how I'm feeling, you know? But I don't forego myself for other people. If he thinks that being online, talking to someone is foregoing oneself, you know, that's really a very one-dimensional way of defining that. You know, the only time that I have really extended myself was with my ex, and that's because I really liked him, you know. But that put me in a lot of turmoil, a lot of pain in my physical body. I ended up in the hospital. I ended up very sick, and I ended up ultimately I was dying, basically. And you know, I wasn't really aware of it until it was very late in the process, and I had to let him go because of that. I couldn't deal with it anymore. It was at some point that it was just overall, I couldn't think of anything else but my ailments, you know? I couldn't think of anything else. And
Melly, sick up.
I had to make a decision,
Melly,
you know?
up.
Either I die,
Melly, you stupid ass.
or I cut him off.
Fucking leave.
These fucking kids, man.
Just kick me.
These fucking kids. Can y'all please stop? This is not freaking Romeo and Juliet. You're not freaking Tybalt or whatever this fucking thing is. What is that?
You scratched me.
That's not a scratch. That's a pen mark.
That is.
That's a pen mark. That's literally a fucking pen mark.
I did not
How
use
are you
a
gonna
pen.
try and gaslight me?
I did not use a pen.
No, that's a pen mark.
I don't have a
It's a
pen.
goddamn pen mark. It's a goddamn pen mark.
I know. I jumped on him and he probably had a pen somewhere in his bag and it scratched my skin.
Okay, then he didn't scratch you. The pen did. He didn't mean to scratch you. That was a pen.
I don't have pens, I have pencils.
We will see. We will see. You can't really see my eyes in this because the stupid sunglass fucking transition shit, but
Help?
whatever. If I end up being at ESFJ, that's fine, but I will present my arguments. That's a given. Like, I'm not gonna just sit here and take it up the ass like some fucking idiot cuck. So in the ILE profile, right, I had read, right, that ENTPs supposedly like designer clothes, or like clothes that like fit well and are comfortable and last. But then you see someone like Host Eric and it looked like he just woke up from a fucking trash can and he looks like fucking dirty and shit. It just basically looks like a bum, and I've seen a couple of people like that. So make it make sense. Okay? You look at the visual observation and then you look at the theory and it just doesn't cling together. It doesn't fit. It's just not puzzle. It doesn't fit together.